Hey everybody, it's Master Fox. September's always been a time of reflection for me. There's always a period every September where I sit down and I look at my personal, professional, spiritual goals that I set the year before, take a look at how I was doing and make adjustments where needed and evaluate. And sometimes I can be very critical with myself as I look at how I've done and adjust. Well, this year for all of us is like no other year when it comes to plans and goals that we've had and how 2020 has evolved. It has been very challenging. I know for many of us, myself included, vacation plans have been put on hold, graduation plans have been altered, proms that people have been looking forward to that just 8 months ago thought would absolutely happen, had no idea, and plans had changed. And I know for some cases, sadly, there were funerals that you couldn't attend and loved ones that we couldn't mourn publicly in the way that we normally would. And it's been a most difficult time. And so as I sat reflecting yesterday, one of the things that came to mind is a lesson that we teach to our advanced students in Taeko Gyokshan. Taeko Gyokshan reminds us of water. And as we think about water, water has many qualities, but the one that comes to mind right now is water is relentless. Water will always find a way. If you give it, if you have a stream and you try and block that stream with stones, the water will go around, it will go over, it will go under. And if you give it a couple million years, it'll work its way through. So water is relentless. And at this time of year, we all need to be relentless and just keep moving because Lord knows there are days when it's really, really hard. But there's something else about water. Bruce Lee famously said when he said, be like water. And I'll paraphrase here. But what he said was, water takes the shape of the vessel that it's in. If you pour it into a bucket, it takes the shape of a bucket. If you pour it into a cup, it takes the shape of a cup. It adapts to its situation that it's in. Boy, does that describe where we are with COVID right now. And looking at myself and our own business, our Dojang used to be a lake. And I can sit here and I can get upset that we're not on a lake anymore and beat my head against the wall and beat myself up. Or I can accept the fact that once was a lake, now is a cup. We're at 50% capacity. And that's not something that we all want. We want to, in fact, many times over the last few days, I've been asked, when can we go back to twice a week? Well, the short answer is you can actually do that right now. But for the second class, it's got to be the day of. I have to do that because when we're at 50% capacity, it is physically impossible to guarantee everyone 2 classes a week. And so now that we find ourselves in a cup instead of in a lake, I had to adapt to the new rules. And the new rules say, in order to give everyone a class, how can we make this an optimal experience for everyone? And so we added in an array of daily online classes that you can use to supplement because we are in a cup. When we can be back into a bowl, the answer is I don't know. It's when we can do so safely. Because as I analyzed myself and my goals yesterday, I realized that although businesses, not just mine, but restaurants and all kinds of businesses around the world are trying to figure out how to operate in a socially distant and safe way. And that's where we are. So how does this all come back to you? And how can this lesson apply to you? I'm going to use a golf analogy, which is odd because I don't play golf, but I think this really works. Those of you that play golf can appreciate it, but if you can't, I think you'll get it too. The goal when playing golf is simple. Get the little white ball in the hole about 300 yards away. Now, the ultimate goal is to get it there from the tee, one shot, a hole in one. And some people are lucky enough to get it at some point in their life. But many people will spend their whole life trying and never quite get that hole in one. Their goal is to just try and get closer and closer and closer every time you play. Now, this year, we all took a shot off the tee. And not only did we make it on the green, did we not make it on the green, we're way off in the rough. And it's not our fault. A giant gust of wind came and it just blew that ball away. And we had no way to predict or prepare that it was coming. And now we find ourselves in the rough. Now, we can sit here and get frustrated about the fact that we're in the rough and try to get to the same hole from the rough and beat ourselves up. But why? It's not helpful. Here's the thing that we do have the power to do: dig a new hole. You dug the first one, you put it there in your mind. Dig a new hole. It can be challenging, it can still be 300 yards away, but it's time to reset that hole and put that hole where you want it, given the new world that we're in a cup, and try and adjust your goals so that we can feel successful where we are. Look, it's okay to still mourn for the things that we want to be, that we wish were different. There's a time for that, but there's a time also to be like water and be relentless and keep moving. Go under, go over, go around, go through, but be relentless. For those of you that are celebrating the Jewish New Year, I wish you Shana Tova. For everyone, be safe. See you in the dojo.